you were to look at, what are the things that they should really worry about, lest they should miss the wave or lest they should miss the new wave of transformation, what are the three things that, they should deeply think about, while there is still time?
Look, I think what we all as in the industry need to think about is how do we deliver the value? How do we make that sustainable and something that is going to last for a long time? Because delivering value is not about just delivering value for 1 year. It's about delivering value on a continuous basis, on a sustainable basis. So if I take a look at EXL, there are a couple of different areas that we are trying to put our efforts in terms of this value creation. Number one is we're moving towards a business model which is BPaaS, or Business Process as a Service. So what we've seen is when you combine analytics with operations management and you embed it on a real-time basis, that means as you are doing the process, you're also analyzing the data that is being thrown up by that process and feeding that back to the customer so that there can be changes made to pricing, there can be changes made to the underwriting standards, there can be changes made to the risk parameters, you can prevent fraud even before the fraud takes place. And when you do those types of things, you're basically creating value and you are preempting a number of things which would have been problems later on.
I think you're right. I think
Rajesh, I'll just maybe add one thing on value, since that is such an important thing. Look, today the whole aim is that how do you make that customer experience better? And this is obviously as a combination of technology and also using the skill of the people, of the agent, etc. So in this case, I'll give you a real-life example. And this always happens. In the cooling machine, it was not cooling properly in the ice cooling machine in the fridge. So the guy knows all the details because it's already there in the registration, and the person who is an expert is answering it. And then to go another step, so when the discussion is happening, this person happens to say something like fluctuating temperature. There is a temperature which is fluctuating in the thermostat. So there is today a speech recognition software which kind of takes these couple of words. So he takes the word called fluctuating temperature, variable temperature, and then gives the agent some templates. What happens in the freezer if there is a fluctuating or a variable temperature? And these templates are there in front. And then the agent says, could it be A, B, and C? So what you're doing is you're getting the right skilled agent, you're giving him the information, you are trying to improve first call resolution, that the problem is solved immediately, and therefore you're improving customer experience. So these are the kind of things, Rajesh, that need to go forward.
Right. I think the movement of truth, and then, are you waking up every morning and worrying, am I creating enough value? And at that level, I think the question today, probably across industries, and I would say even for executives, every morning is the same. Are you still relevant to your customer? Are you still relevant to the market? So Ravi, while all this is true and, Internet of Things, but there is Internet of People, right? So, in all the change, how do you think the whole landscape of people going to change? We had a certain persona of people working in these services, right? Young, bright, 30% attrition. Where do you see it going in future? I mean, what are the skills? How do they reskill themselves? What are the new skills you're going to hire? And do you think you'll find them in the country? And not only that, to Rohit's point, how do the business owners want to reorient and reskill themselves? They're certainly having a very different conversation. Are we all ready for it? And then what happens to the the large workforce that we have already?
Right. Let me take an example of what one of my clients is actually doing. This is a very large, it's one of the world's largest makers of PCs, right? A few years ago, when they were providing technical support, they had to hire people who were rocket scientists. So these are guys, they would receive calls, diagnose whatever is going on in the PC and provide a solution. But today things have changed, and it's not about the people per se. I mean, it has an impact on people, but it's the way they have changed the product itself. For instance, today, when they sell a computer, the computer goes embedded with certain diagnostic tools, right? So when a call comes in this time, the person who picks up the call does not really have to do any kind of active thinking for diagnosing. What they have to do is run a set of tools. And when they run these set of tools in a particular order, 99% of the time that particular issue is identified, and the tool also tells the agent what he needs to do to fix it. So suddenly what you're seeing is that the type of people that they need to hire has completely changed. So earlier the type of people that they had to hire were, I mean, if you look at the kind of aptitude tests that they used to have, they no longer have those. So at one end, when companies say that we are not able to find people, these folks have suddenly expanded their reach in terms of finding people, because now they no longer need those rocket scientists. So at one end, we are seeing this. Mm-hmm. At the other end is companies trying to do higher value-added work. Right? There is definitely a challenge. The issue is that if I am an expert or I've got some experience in the area of banking or insurance or something like that, or an industry like that, I am being sought after not just by the BPO industry. There are a whole bunch of industries out there that really want me. So there is a challenge at the higher end that at least we see. Mm-hmm. In that sense, we need to produce a lot more experts in various domains.
From a vertical perspective, Rohit, which industries do you see leading the charge into the future in terms of customers for this industry?
So I think this is something which is going across all the industry groups, but there are certain industries which take up leadership at certain points of time. I think if you take a look at the evolution of the BPM industry, very early on the banks took on the lead, and the financial services companies took on the lead. And they took on the lead because they were global companies. They knew how to deal with providers in various geographies, and they were comfortable with it. And there was a crying need for them to do this. Today, if you take a look at what's driving the growth in this industry, I think there's a big amount of growth that's taking place in the healthcare industry vertical. With all the changes that are taking place in healthcare, particularly in the US and also in Europe, I think that's driving a lot of demand for these types of services. And then as you kind of think about this going forward, any industry which requires analytics is going to actually adopt outsourcing a lot more aggressively. And so I think the industries that are going to need analytics are the ones where you have high volumes of customers, you have more complex products, and those are the industry verticals which I think where the demand will be there.
Do you see retail, telecom?
Yeah, I think retail is is going to be a fascinating industry vertical, which is going to leverage analytics tremendously. Pharmaceuticals is going to be a huge industry vertical that again can leverage analytics as such.
I think it sounds very similar to our business. We run 26 industries, and an average person in those teams will be 20 years in that industry. So they really sit with the customer and advise them. And you have very high-end business consultants. They say, how do you create value, really? So I think that's the place to be. So thank you so much.